Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be taking a look at the ENGWE M20. Now this is their motorcycle style or moped style electric bike. Pretty cool in my opinion. You can get this thing either in single battery or dual battery versions. This is the dual battery version, and I'll get into that a little bit later about this version here. And we are going to take this thing for a test ride, see what kind of power and performance this 26 amp hour 750 watt motor bike has. We're going to get right into the testing right now, and then I'm going to stop halfway through the ride and go over the specs and features that I don't talk about during this ride. So let's get into it. I'm going to hit this first hill here with throttle only in pedal assist 5 and just see if it has enough power with this 750 watt motor to pull me up this hill by itself with just the motor. So let's see how it does. 13 miles an hour, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, 3. All right, guys, I'm gonna start pedaling. I don't like pushing it under 3 miles an hour. Actually, I usually don't like to let it get below like 4 to 5 miles an hour. So 750 watts does seem a little bit lacking on the power here. A little better than some of the other 750s I've tested, but nowhere near as powerful as some of the other ones I've tested. And this bike is using a 20 amp controller, and it's supposed to have a max speed of 28 miles an hour, and you better believe we're going to be testing that out on a straight stretch. All right, so now we're going to test out the pedal assist levels and see if the throttle is limited to the levels. Now I'm in pedal assist 1 right now, not really putting any effort into the pedals, and I'm going 15 miles an hour. So that's pretty fast in my opinion. Later on, we'll tone down the max speed because right now I have it set to max speed, and we'll see if that limits the pedal assist level 1 down to a slower speed. Because if you're trying to ride slow, this might be a little fast for you, but most people buying this bike are going to be buying it to ride fast anyway, at least upwards of the 20 mile an hour limit that is legal in most places. Now I did notice on this display that there is 5 levels of assist. In the manual it states that it could be adjusted from 3, 5, 7, or 9. However, I didn't see anything in the menu that allowed me to adjust the pedal assist levels or the power or speed of each level. So just something I wanted to mention. It does seem like it only has 5, which is perfectly fine with me. That's what I normally set my bikes to anyway, but not being able to adjust each level, just something I wanted to mention. All right, so we're gonna try pedal assist 2 here and see what kind of speed we can maintain on 2. So it looks like pedal assist 2 is about 18 miles an hour, and I'm not putting any effort into the pedals. Actually, this is me putting pressure on the pedals, which is not too bad. So I would say about 18 miles an hour pedal assist 2. And I am in 7th gear right now, cruising up this little incline pretty easily. Well, it'll do 32 downhill, that's for sure. So no squeaks and squeals on the brakes. Now this bike is using a pair of Wuxing brake levers and Falail brake calipers with a pair of 160 millimeter rotors. And these are mechanical disc brakes. So far they seem pretty quiet. We'll hit the brakes down here at the bottom and see how well they do. Let's start feathering them now, get them nice and hot. No squeaks. Let's see if I can lock them up. Oh yeah. Whew, I can smell them though. Smells like they're burning slightly. They're probably wearing in. All right, let's try pedal assist 3. Seems like it's picking up a lot quicker in 3. So it looks like pedal assist 3 is 22 miles an hour. And this bike does have dual suspension. You can see there, not too bad. It is a little springy in the back, but that could be upgraded to a different shock. Really no adjustability there on the back shock. That would have been nice. The front shock seems pretty good. It seems like it's a hydraulic front fork with a compression adjuster on the right-hand side and a lockout, but on the left-hand side, there is no preload adjuster. But we'll hit some more bumps, maybe some jumps later on in the trip. And I'm full throttle right now, guys, in pedal assist 3, 20 miles an hour up this slight incline. And that's just to show you that the throttle is limited to your pedal assist level. But we'll see what kind of max speed we can get out of the throttle once we hit a straight stretch right down the road here. All right, here we go, pedal assist 4. Let's see what kind of speed we can get. Looks like 24 miles an hour in pedal assist 4. There's, well, it hit 25 for a split second. Let's bump it up to 5. This is pedal assist 5. We're gonna try just throttle only first, and then we're gonna pedal and see what kind of speed we can get with pedal assist. 26. Now, he did say it was supposed to do 28, and I got this thing turned up to the max. So it looks like 27, 26, 27 on the display, 26 on the display, and 26 on the bike. So I would say between 26 and 27 miles an hour for max speed. And you will run out of pedal at about 23 miles an hour or so. There's 24. This is the cadence, how fast you'll be turning the pedals. This thing is not geared to go class 3 e-bike speeds of 28 miles an hour. But really, guys, 20 miles an hour is the legal limit in most areas. So let's see how 20 miles an hour. There's 20 miles an hour. That's how you'll be pedaling at about 20 right here. Well, my GPS might have been lagging. I think I was going a little faster than 20 there. So yeah, about 27 miles an hour, I would say. And that's with a 175-pound rider. If you're lighter, you might get it to go faster. Heavier, maybe a little slower. And if you hit a hill, obviously, you'll be going a lot slower. Let's hit this hill here. Let's see what kind of speed we can maintain. I'm going to help it out. I'm in pedal assist 5. 17, 16. Not too bad up that little incline there. Nice and quiet on the brakes. All right, everyone, so let's go over the specs and features on what you get with the ENGWE M20 bike. And first and foremost, the first thing I want to talk about that I absolutely hands down love is this front headlight. You can see it has a top and bottom beam on the headlight, and there's like a running light in there. So when you have the lights, they're not even turned on right now. This is just the bike turned on. That lights up automatically there, that strip on both lights, and it's going to be a nice daytime running light. And then when you turn the headlights on, the center beam lights up, and you can adjust each one of those up and down to give you either brighter further away, brighter closer, or one for further, one for closer. Just really nice there. Super bright there on the headlight, and on the tail light it's really bright. And then when you pull the brake lever, it's also a brake light. So really nice to see for safety, guys. I always love when bikes have tail lights with brake lights and super bright front lights. Train for people being able to see you when you're riding it in the daytime and at nighttime. Now, with that being said, that was actually the hardest part of setting this bike up, was installing this front headlight. I had to put this bracket together around these front forks here. Now, I kept it kind of high because I thought it looked cooler, and the way I have the handlebars and everything adjusted worked out just perfect for the headlights. Now, you can put these headlights down all the way to here or up higher like I did, whatever you guys like. If you like them higher or like them lower, but I really think they look cool up high like that. Really good on the lighting. A+, ENGWE. Why's that train got to be so loud? Up here on the handlebars, you have a set of rubber hand grips. They are not locking, but they are on there really well. Can't twist them at all, which is really nice. You have the headlight button here to turn your headlight on and off, and a horn button. Now the horn is actually back here underneath the seat in this little box, and of course, and that is actually where your controller is, the battery blender, and your horn. So all your electronics are basically up underneath this plastic box underneath the seat. Next to that, you have a little black and white display, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's not going to be a super big display in the center, but you also don't have to worry about breaking it as easy being small like this. Your power button's up top here. Then you have your plus button here and your negative button here for your pedal assist levels. And to reset your trip, you hold the power button and the negative button down for like 2 seconds and your trip meter resets. So it's really nice that you can actually reset your own trip meter and it doesn't reset when you shut the bike off and turn it back on. I kind of hate when bikes have it so that it resets when you shut the bike off and turn it back on. I like to keep track of my trips on each battery charge. So far we went 4.7 miles on this trip, and on my phone GPS it says 4.64. So that's close enough for me, really close as far as how they have the tire size set up in here. And you can go in, I believe, and adjust that if you needed to. This bike does also have a walk mode. If you hold down the negative button, the back wheel will spin slowly. So if you had to walk this bike up a hill, it will assist you like that. To get into the settings of the bike, you hold the plus and minus button down, and then you can go into your P settings and control your max speed of the bike. Like I said, I do have this one unlocked to show you what the max potential is of this bike, and we were getting about 27 miles per hour with throttling and pedal assist. So over here on the right hand side, you actually have a full grip twist throttle, just like a motorcycle, instead of a half grip like most other e-bikes. So that's pretty cool to see. You have a 7-speed Shimano shifter, which leads down to the 14 to 28 freewheel in the rear of the bike, and it's using a Shimano tourney derailleur coming up the chain to a 48 tooth chain ring in the front and a set of Welgo aluminum pedals. You do get a derailleur guard on here as well, and if you notice it's not shifting into 7th gear, make sure your derailleur is not touching your guard, because a lot of times in shipping these will get bent in. And one thing I want to mention, when I set this bike up and put it together, the bolt going through the rear fender here, it was actually a little bit too long, and it was touching the chain a little bit when you were in 7th gear. It wasn't touching it a lot, but it was just barely hitting it, and I couldn't figure out what the noise was at first. I was able to change that out and put a shorter bolt in because I had bolts laying around, but you can always add a few washers to that if you notice that the bolt on your bike is too long hitting your chain as well. Now, I did mention that to them, so maybe that's just with the model that I got. Maybe they'll upgrade that in the future. Hopefully they can. So for suspension on this bike, like I said earlier, it seems like it's a hydraulic front fork with a compression adjuster there, but no preload adjuster on the left-hand side. And for the rear shock, it's a 750-pound HLT in the center of the rear of the bike. And like I said, no adjustability there, but I mean, I guess you could always upgrade that shock in the future if you needed to. All right, the train's finally almost gone. Good, messing up my video. So one thing I really like about this bike is it's pretty minimalistic. There's not a ton of extra metal on the bike, making it super heavy. Now, this is still an 83.5-pound bike when I weighed it on my scale. The bike without the batteries is about 68 pounds, and with the batteries, like I said, 83.5 to 84 pounds. Now, the bottom battery actually came on the bike, and this is what I said I'd mention at the beginning of the video. When I got this bike, it was only a single battery. They did send me the second battery and the battery blender to install on this bike to show the dual battery version, but I'm assuming whenever you order the dual battery version, it'll actually already come complete. But what I wanted to mention was that the top battery and the bottom battery look a little differently, so I'm not sure if yours will look this way and it would have the different design. This one's actually a little bit thicker and actually weighs about 1.5 pounds more than the top battery. Even though they're both 13 amp hour batteries, not sure if their replacement batteries are using different cells and are lighter and makes it shorter battery, but they both say 13 amp hours. And like I said, not sure if you order the dual battery version, if they'll both be the same height, or if your top battery will be a little bit shorter, or if they'll both be thicker, or they'll both be smaller. Don't know, guys, but all I know is that if you order a dual battery version, you'll get 2 batteries, and they'll both be 13 amp hours for a total of 26 amp hours of battery power. And it's using a 20 amp controller to power the 750 watt rear hub motor, and I believe it has 55 Newton meters of torque output. Another thing that's cool is even though there's no rear rack on here, this is a nice little grab spot for you to be able to pick the bike up and move the back end around. And I do like the design on the handlebars. It gives you nice room here in the center for your accessories, and just really cool on the design, the way they look. Like I said earlier, it's using a set of Wuxing mechanical disc brakes coming down to 160 millimeter rotors in both the front and the rear of the bike. Has a nice adjustable heavy duty kickstand on here, and it does come with a set of front and rear metal fenders. Another thing I noticed on the stem of this bike is it's kind of swooped down a little bit. You can actually probably flip this over if you wanted to get the handlebar up a little higher if you wanted. I think they're good where they're at. I didn't see a problem with them. And the seat height on this bike, it kind of swoops up a little bit from here to there. And the seat height from the ground up is 31.5 inches here to 32.5 inches towards the back of the seat. Explore a new way. Now this bike is sitting on a pair of 20 by 4 inch Chaoyang fat tires and a set of mag rims. And last but not least, you get 2 USB charge ports, one on each battery here and here. And what's really nice about these batteries is that it has an on-off switch here to turn the battery power on and off when you're removing it from the bike or putting it on, so you don't get any sparks whenever you put that battery down on. And it does have a battery meter here on each one of these batteries, which is really nice to see. Now I did notice about the batteries, the one on the bottom of the frame, it's mounted to a round tube here, so you do get a little bit of wobble back and forth on this one. This top frame here had a nice flat plate where the battery mounted, and it feels a little bit more secure. Not too bad overall, but I would have liked to have seen maybe a flat bar there for the battery to mount on, just so it didn't wobble as much. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but just something I wanted to mention. But other than that, guys, not really too much more to talk about. That's pretty much all the specs and features of the bike, but let's finish this ride out, take it up some steeper hills, over some more jumps and bumps, and finish seeing how it performs. Let me know what you guys think of the bike down in the comments below. And if you are interested in picking one of these up after watching this video, please make sure you check out the link in the description. It will be an affiliate link. I'll make a small commission, and I'm going to try to get a coupon code for all of you to save some money. They may give me a $200 coupon code. That's what I've been talking to them about. So hopefully they can, so that you guys can save a good bit of money on this bike. Phew. Suspension. Not too bad. Not quite as soft as some other bikes, but honestly, guys, not too bad. The rear suspension feels a little stiff. The seat's actually, I don't know, it's not too bad. Overall, not too bad for the type of bike it is. It's about what's to be expected. All right, here we go up the steepest hill in town. See how it does. I'm in gear 1, so this is going to be the easiest gear to pedal. And pedal assist 5. And I'm putting a decent bit of effort into this, guys. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more power. Still pulled me up pretty good, but I did have to put some effort into the pedals. All right, here we go up the last long hill before my house. Now, one thing that's nice about this bike for shorter riders is that seat height of only being 31.5 inches up from the ground. I'm about 5'7.5", and I'm able to touch flat-footed on this bike. So it's kind of nice, but as you can see, it doesn't make a real good pedaling experience when you have to pedal. You can see that my legs are coming up pretty high. The right leg extension is nowhere near even close. Now you could probably maybe modify the seat somehow to get it up higher if you needed to, but most people are not going to be pedaling this bike much anyway, and they're going to be buying it to cruise around, probably mostly on throttle. I mean, you can do it. It is doable. I'm in 3rd gear. This would be 1st gear, and this is 7th gear. Kind of hard to put effort into it at 7th gear. 3rd gear seems pretty good coming up this. My legs are burning. I'm getting a pretty good workout here, but not too bad. Whew. I need the exercise anyway. 175 pounds. I gained about 10 pounds this winter. Nice straight level stretch, and this is how most people are probably going to be riding this bike. Easy 25 miles an hour there. We're approaching the hill that we went up when I first started, and we'll see how we can do up it now. I'm gonna just go ahead and pedal this time. This is how I would normally be riding on these hills. I would normally get a run for it and then start pedaling when I hit it. So on every one of my ride tests, I always start out right about here, but you can see I was already hitting 25 miles an hour there. This is how I would normally come up these hills. And like I said, this is the one at the beginning that barely made it up with just throttle. And I'm in 7th gear, 10 miles an hour. Not too bad pedaling up that, getting a little bit of a run for it. All right, everyone, so I made it back home safe and sound. One thing I forgot to mention earlier that this bike comes with is a nice long tube, like frame bag. And it's kind of a little bit tricky mounting it. I was able to get it to mount to the top, so if you get a single battery bike, it will work fine. If you get the dual battery bike, there isn't really too many other spots that you can actually put that bag. I'm assuming that that bag comes with both versions from what I read on their website. But overall, guys, pretty nice bike. A few things I would like to see upgraded would be maybe a little bit more Newton meters of torque out of the motor to give me a little bit more power when climbing some of those hills. A lot of you guys won't have the kind of hills that I have in my area, so you might be okay. I would have liked to see, like I said, a little piece of square stock on top of the frame there where this bottom battery mounted like the top one is, because it just seems a little bit more secure, and maybe a little bit more adjustability on the pedal assist levels to be able to tone one down if you needed to. Other than that though, guys, pretty nice bike, pretty cool to ride, and awesome headlight on the front. Like I said, if you guys are interested, think this is the bike for you, there will be links down below with a coupon code for you guys to save a few bucks. Let me know what you think down below. Leave a comment, please, because it really helps my channel out. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing and sticking around, watching more of my videos, and seeing what the future brings. Thanks for watching, everyone.